So we got a couple different Chromebooks here. The Dell Chromebooks. These are the education editions. So they're very cut down as far as performance specs go, but it's actually fine. They're Chromebooks. They don't need a lot of performance per se. And we just got problems on some of them. And we're just going to get them fixed. So first one that we're going to look at is this guy, which that's as far as it opens. You can see the hinges aren't working so great. So let's go ahead and get this apart. Actually, we're going to use our electrical screwdriver today. Hey, thanks for checking out this video. If you like these videos, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. It really, really helps the channel. So most of these screws should be captive. Well, this is this is a Dell Chromebook 3100 2-in-1. And if you go look these up online, there's a couple different versions of these. Most of these screws should be captive. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 captive screws. So on this one here, we're going to be replacing the hinges, which is should be a little bit time consuming, but overall it should be straightforward-ish for them. Sure hope this screw over there isn't... Yeah, no, it's fine. Alright. So, to replace these hinges, we're looking at full-on taking these screens off, and then once we get the screen off, we are going to get these hinges out of here. And for those of you who don't know, the reason you fix some Chromebooks is either because they're provided by a government entity, which what these are, or because there are some Chromebooks that cost 4 or 5 times as much as a gaming PC. Like not HP. Google themselves made a Chromebook once that cost almost $2,000. So to get this out, we have to remove that little cover right there, and then this lifts up. Disconnect that. That's disconnected now. I'll figure out why. That's right, the hinge is broken, so it's not going to want to rotate. So this is going to be interesting getting this out of there. And then the other things we need to remove, we need to disconnect this cable, and then the Wi-Fi. That's that out. So now comes the actual fun part. Thankfully, this just comes apart. This is the actual screen. This is where the cables and stuff are connected. Up top here, we need to disconnect this camera cable and then unstick it from the back. Because as we try and remove the actual LCD screen, I have a feeling that it's going to try and stick together. And there's a little rubber insert holding that in, and then that's out. So now we're down to what we're actually replacing. And these are actually from Dell, so they should be the right ones. So this one goes here. Yep, looks right. Where I was about to put them on backwards. So thankfully, we're not having to do any of the... That's unfortunate. Well, we're going to have to try and super glue these in just a little bit. Because not much holding that in there down there anymore. This thing is completely falling apart. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to try and rebuild this a little bit, which is going to be really unfortunate because rebuilding this, like, it's not designed for lateral loads. It's designed for vertical loads. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to try our best to get this to get this back in there using a little super glue, a little bit of activator. Try using my my thicker black super glue, see how this goes. Got a little bit more body to it. Yeah, this thing is just gonna, just wants to fall apart, unfortunately. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna try and drill it out a little bit. So I'm gonna do the same thing a couple more times. All right, so after that fiasco, let's get these in here. I don't know why I thought even for a second that that would work. I should know better. Actually, before we go any farther with this, let's go ahead and put that back in. With this little thing here, all it does is it's designed to hold these cables inside the hinge. Actually, before we do that, before I break this screen, just go ahead and get the camera hooked back up. Which goes like so. Get these clicked back together. When you're putting in these little rubber things, you have to make sure you put them in there the right way. There's two ways they can go. I know it's hard to see, but like there's a slight taper to them. So if I hold it this way, the fat part is on the bottom. If I hold this way, the fat part is on the top. Gotta make sure the fat part is on the bottom. And then as it slides in there, it's just gonna get to a point and it's going to sit into two little grooves that are down here. That will help keep dust and dirt out of the hinges. And we're gonna do the same thing on this side, where the fat part is on the bottom. All right, let's get this reattached, which should be like a lot easier now that I can move these hinges. And then show you just like about how I normally go about doing this. So flatten out the hinges and then you slowly just work it around these plastic corners, because it's not going to want to naturally just gently sit down in there, because it has to go quite a ways in there for this to actually like work. So we want to have these cables come inside first. That's the way they gotta go. They gotta go in there. There we go. Apparently at a certain, like it's the way the hinge is designed, it only locks in certain points. Let's get these screws back in here. So what's funny is even after I fix this, this computer isn't gonna be very long for use, just because of like there's stuff broken and missing all over the place. It's the problem you run into with giving technology to children. Alright, so let's get this connected back in. Alright, so that's on there. And there we go. And we have a charger for this, so we'll give it a test real quick. Of course, this is one of the ones that will not charge with this cord that they gave me. Let's see if this is enough power. This should be more than enough power. Chrome OS. Alright. Yeah, it needs a good charge, but other than that, all seems to be working. All good. That's one done. Next one. We got this. Same kind of thing. Dealing with hinge damage. So we have a replacement Palmrest. Feels like the hinge itself is operating fine. So this one's going to be a little bit more involved. Have to move a bunch of stuff. We need to get the battery out, so we'll start with that. Oh, I see. They wanted me to pull that, but I didn't want to. Fun. So leave that connected. We're going to need to get this out. We're going to have to get all the speakers out. So disconnect the speakers next. So in the new one, we already have the pull tab for the battery. And that plate is already there, so we don't need to worry about it. So, and this right here is a pretty good indicator that we're not going to have to worry about whether or not this is the right Palmrest. Looks like we got the right one. We're going to disconnect that cable. We're going to move over the trackpad. Everything lined up and back in. Because after we do the trackpad, then we can finish running the speaker cable, which is nice and easy. All right, motherboard. Screen off. All right, so that's out of there. Disconnect that cable. That cable is connected. Parts of this thing falling everywhere. All right, let's get this keyboard out of here. There should be no screws holding this in whatsoever. The only thing holding this in theory, should be just a little bit of adhesive. But then again, Dell sometimes likes to put screws places. This doesn't look like this one's going to be one of those. And we just need to figure out the release processes for this. Usually these releases are these guys. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And out with that. All right, keyboard in. Same, just in reverse. Slide up. And we are going to push down. It should lock this. All right. Next, let's get our motherboard. We got a whole new thermal pad. Take off the old thermal pad. Those screws in, those screws in. Get these cables out of here, or these screws out of here, excuse me. This thing definitely took a pounding. So this one's a big, I don't know if this is going to work or not because of the way that this was so violently, well, when they are provided by a school board and the school board needs them repaired for auditing reasons, yes. And if you have one of the high-end Chromebooks, like if you have a Google Pixelbook, like the Pixelbooks start at $1,000. So yes, to answer your question. And some Chromebooks are actually pretty good. There are definitely situations where repairing a Chromebook is definitely the right thing to do. All right, let's get all these things plugged back in before we plug the battery in, and then see if this guy is actively working. Yeah, so when you have a Chromebook like this one, like these 3 that I'm repairing, when the county says hey, we bought you guys all these Chromebooks and they were paid for with tax money, where are they? And you have like 50 of them that are broken. Yeah, that's where I come in. Because the county isn't going to pay another, you know, $300 per unit for these. If I can come in under that under $200, then it's fine. You have to keep in mind also that like some Chromebooks have NVIDIA chipsets and GPUs in them. So they're going to be pretty stout for gaming. I mean, granted, you're going through a conversion layer, but still going to be pretty good for doing just everyday whatevers. All right. Before we put this together entirely, we got to power it up, see if she's working. Make sure a touch is working. Touch is working. Wi-Fi is working. Battery is working. Let's shut this down. All right, one more. I'm gonna go take a quick walk real quick and then do the exact same thing again. So I'll be right back. Chrome OS. We have relatively sturdy Hinge again. See, networks just fine. Battery is plugged in and charging. Bluetooth is on. Shut down. And bottom back on. Give them a call. Get them out of here. All right, that's 3 of these guys repaired and good to go. Give her a call. Yeah, I don't know why they gave me that power cord. The power cord has nothing to do with these. Hey, thanks for watching that video. If you liked that video, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And I stream daily on Twitch at twitch.tv/SpecVengeance. And yeah, if you want to learn more about my services, check out Bradenton PC Repair.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.